Hello everybody, good to be with you again. Today I'm going to give a demonstration of the Space Talker before I button it up into a nice clean package with some extra features, control features anyway. There's a history on how this got developed. I was building a oscillator, what I call the super oscillator, and it was super alright. It was so complex that nobody could use it. So I decided to back it off into various pieces, did some nice research with what it could do. I got hooked on the idea that frequencies, including sound frequencies, have a very useful place in this universe, and we've been sort of sheltered from all the things that they can do by whoever. So the Space Talker is basically a laser. It was a device that came out of the fact that I built a battery charger to charge my lithium-ion batteries for some of my other projects. And somewhere along the line I came across this idea that these batteries could be used to replace the AAAs in flashlights. And then I gravitated towards an idea about using one of these in a laser. And it was just one connection after another. The net result is that here's our first prototype. The board's finally built. It used to be breadboarded on one of those little plug-in boards that you can plug jumpers in and so forth. Worked out all the bugs. It works really nice. I'm very pleased with how it came out after a week. I thought I'd have this done last weekend. Here we are 1 week later, Friday to Friday, and I finally got this thing manufactured to a point where I can actually put it in a box. So here's the device, and this of course is the laser. Okay, I've got it clamped onto the PC board so it can't go anywhere, and I got this laser by cutting it out of a laser housing, and I have no idea where I put the other laser. But at any rate, I took apart a housing, this was part of it, and I cut this device out of it and the attached electronic board, and then I made a control circuit that will demodulate a WAV file. It will work on an MP3 file, but WAV files work much better, out of a MP3 player, and now I can actually send messages to anywhere. There are Ipod and Android devices out there that will receive light beam signals of various frequencies. I'm using a 532 nanometer green beam, extremely visible during the day and at night. It's because our eyes are sensitive to the green frequency more than any other frequency. Most of us, normal people anyway. So we have we stripped it out of the laser pen. It formerly ran on two AAA batteries. It now runs on a lithium-ion 4-volter, which will run this for hours and hours off an MP3 player. I haven't really found out how long it'll play before it needs to be charged. And of course, well, let's show the back while I'm just sitting here talking. Okay, there's the back, nice clean circuit board. I laid the circuit board out in such a way that I could make a PC quality board out of it, because there's no jumpers jumping over any other place. They're not running over themselves, in other words. And it's very tiny. And so getting back to the lithium-ion battery, I converted the unit to run off of this. Also runs the, that's a 555 timer in there. It's a retriggerable monostable, and what that means is that I send a series of pulses from the MP3 player, and the pulses are the frequency that I record at. For example, if I record something at 100 hertz, there'll be 100 cycles per second, and I can convert that 100 hertz into dits and das, or different kind of code sequences. I happen to have on here right now some Morse code messages that I want to send out to space, and that's why I call it a space talker. Or you can think of it, it can talk to another, to a receiving device over a massive amount of space. You can get lasers now, buy them here via the web for up to 10 watts. That was not possible a few years ago. We were limited to a 5 milliwatt, the consumer was, to a 5 milliwatt specification. And it was pretty hard to buy a laser more than that without paying extravagant amounts of money or getting permits or whatever. Now you can buy these lasers dirt cheap for up to, in power, so far I found them up to 10 watts, available for civilian use. Normal people, not military, although they're all called military grade. So I'm going to demonstrate the unit. You got a little history about how I evolved into making this. Oscillator, battery charges, then a home for trying to find use for batteries and so forth. By the way, the battery charger I was referring to that I made is this device here. I call it the pillbox battery charger, PVC. I've got a couple of different types, and they're infinitely adjustable from 5 volts to actually from about 3.5 volts, excuse me, up to about 30 volts. And so you can charge lithium ions, NiCads, lead acid batteries. They will not boil away the fluid. You leave it on there for days, and it'll bring it up to charge and leave it there, because as they get close to full charge, or the charge that you just designate as full charge, they will peter out, slowly reduce their current supply. Very nice, perfect for lithium-ion batteries. You don't have to worry about fusing the fuse inside a lot of the lithium-ion batteries. They will not get that hot. You can control how much current you want to provide them. Okay, that's off the subject. Let's demonstrate this little baby before it goes into a nice clean package, which I'll make another video of. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect up the preliminaries. These two wires here, they are for they represent the on and off switch that's on a laser pen. So I'm going to short these out so they will be look like they're completely closed. So that's what that jumper was just hanging there for. Now I'm going to connect up the power. Here's the source. Unfortunately, I don't have any real reason to, or fortunately, any real reason to demonstrate anything on the scope, show pulses or anything like that right now. Maybe down the road somebody asks a little bit about the theory and how I'm doing things. But it definitely, you can see it in the schematics what I'm doing, which are provided on the website. I'm going to connect up the power supply, and this copper wire here is ground. Grab a jumper for plus voltage, and connect that to the positive. And I can check that I'm powered up properly if, instead of shorting the switch out through the switch mechanism, if I short it out to the ground, give me a little more cable here, you might be able to see the laser firing. If I can, okay, or I can just leave it on so you can actually see it. There's a beam coming out, and I will not shoot it at my camera at this close range. Okay, so the laser works. Now the last thing I'm going to do is connect up the MP3 player. Made up this plug. I've used this MP3 player and this plug in the pulsar, and you can look at the pulsar and see what that's all about. Another device that's talked about, videos, schematics and everything on the web. And this just converts the plug into a couple of wires that I can connect to this board with jumpers. So let's take and connect red to red on that. And let's connect this to the input. And let's connect up a ground. And that would be this wire here. I can see the laser flashing, feels the signal. And let's add that to ground too. Okay. Okay, you probably can see it already flashing. I happen to have my MP3 already running. If I didn't turn it off, that was not intentional. And right now, it is sending out a Morse code message to wherever I point it. Right now, it's pointed at the wall, so it's sending a message out to the wall. This is a 5 milliwatt laser. I intend to replace it with a 30 milliwatt, which I could never purchase before. And I might even consider making this device run with a much higher 1 watt or a 2 or 3 watt laser, which would mean that I could theoretically reach outer space, leastwise where the satellites are and so forth. It could be very visible to the space station and so forth, or whoever else is out there watching, hence the Space Talker. So I happen to have a file in here, and this file is running at 20 words per minute, using Farnworth at 18. I won't explain that. And I modulated this Morse code at 500 hertz. This board will take modulations from anywhere from 100 hertz on up and convert them to Morse code. You need a little software and so forth. Nothing that you have to pay for. I used freebie software all off the internet, including Audacity, to convert the MP3 file that one program created out of a Morse code sequence. You type in the text, and then it will create a Morse code sequence to your specifications. Then I used Audacity to convert that from an MP3 to a WAV file. This really works much better with as a WAV file, but it will work as an MP3. And that's my first presentation of the Space Talker. You can see it having a good time. I can run up to 50 words a minute only because I have a software program that will generate Morse code at 50 words a minute. I can't copy code any faster than maybe 15 on a good day. With a typewriter, maybe 20. With a pencil, with a stick, really I can only probably copy around 10 or so. It's been a long time since I did code. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And watch video 2, which will be the packaged representation of the Space Talker. Have a nice day.